Good evening, Hobby World! Thanks for joining us live tonight on YouTube for episode 31 of Personal Rips and Hobby Chat. Joining me is Ken from at Beans B Card blog, and I'm Herman, aka 3B Collection. We're here every Monday night at 8 Eastern to talk about our hobby and yours. Feel free to join in the conversation and in chat.
You are fired up tonight. You are fired up. Way more fired up than I am. I'm still dragging ass.
That's my tribute to Robin Williams.
I just appreciate you warning me so I didn't have the headphones right on the ears.
But the bad thing is I told Bo to pump up the volume.
You're a dick.
And he's here. He says he's fired up now, so let's go.
Yeah, between that and the intro music, the headbanging intro music.
I hope it wasn't too loud.
Nah,
hey, Mark, how you doing? Bo, glad y'all with me. And Ken. So, how's it been going this week? You've done couple of videos this week.
Whew. Yeah, I got a video up yesterday and today, but yeah, it's been last week I didn't really get a whole lot going because I was working 10s because, as you know, and some others know, I got my second COVID shot on Thursday. Was fine all day Thursday, and then Friday just felt like hell. Saturday felt like hell until probably about 7 or 8 o'clock, and then Sunday and today still pretty like worn out, like body fatigue. But we're getting through it. But yeah, I want to get a couple videos out, so. Yeah. Just a couple of fun videos, and then I'll have another throwback Thursday video. It's already set up to go out for Thursday morning.
Cool. Man, I saw the video you did with the mask from 93, 94 score.
Mm-hmm.
Those are awesome. I've
those are nice. Yeah,
now, granted, I haven't paid much attention to hockey until recently, but those are to be 93, 94. Those are awesome.
Definitely a little bit ahead of their time, a little bit a season or two before, like the baseball were the museum club. Now, I know 93 had the Cooperstown cards that were in the Dufex because you and I had talked about that because I was looking for that Murphy a few weeks ago that ended up going off at like $50.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people they love their 90s technology. And, it actually hit me a few weeks ago. Everybody talks about all the 90s technology as if it went away, and it did, and it just finally hit me a few weeks ago why that all seemed to go away. They stopped being creative because they started with autograph and relic cards. And to this day, we're talking 20 years, 25 years almost. They're still relying on autographs and relics. And, I'm not going to say they don't have any technology, but I mean – the acceleration from 1990 to 2000 was much greater than it has been from 2000 to 2021. As far as new technologies and things. I mean, some of the cooler things out there, like the clear cut hockey, Topps did some clear parallels, but I mean, hell, they were doing those, Classic was doing those in the early 90s. So it's not like the acetate cards even really that new. It's just maybe a little more prevalent than it once was.
Yeah, and I really can't speak from say 94 to I guess 18 because I was out for a while. But looking back, I can kind of see what you're saying. It seems like when autograph and relics hit I can't think of the word.
Maybe creativity?
The creativity. Yeah, you go. The creativity just went away. It's like, well, we'll just send these cards off and you let them get autographed, and we ain't got to think about it. It's autographed. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to want it. Well, no, not everybody. Not everybody wants it. I don't.
No, and especially I don't need a damn one color may or may not be associated with this player or team card. But yeah, it was just one of those things. Like I just kept seeing so many people talking about the 90s and all that, and it's like I don't understand the fascination. Other than, if that's what you grew up with, that I definitely get. But them talking true, it was so great. But then, yeah, man, when about 97, 98, when we started getting more autographs and relics. Just like I said, the creativity was just thrown out the window.
When you think about people still talk about like chase cards. I mean, are they really chase cards now? Because there's so many different kinds. It's like, well, if I want a purple, I can get a green. It's still different.
Yeah, I don't even know
but
that.
It's not like you think about Donruss back in what 91, 92 with the Donruss Elite autographs. Now that was a chase card.
Oh, okay. I see. I get what you say by a chase card. Yeah, like something you're truly going after, or the 92 Upper Deck Michael Jordan, even, or was that 91? 91.
91. Yeah.
Everybody wanted that. Everybody wanted the bow black and white, and it was just a normal card in the set.
I mean,
I get what you're saying now.
I couldn't tell you how many 91, 92 Donruss I opened and never, until I looked it up on YouTube, did I ever see an Elite card.
Yeah, I never pulled one. I've bought a couple in the last couple of years. So those were my first ones I ever had. But yeah, I never pulled one.
But I mean, I'm sure you've pulled like a 1 of 50 or 1 of 100.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, these were what? These were printed out of what, 1,000?
No, those Elites were 10,000, and then I think they lowered them. And then I think they lowered them to 5,000 in the second or third year.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, given the number of boxes I've opened or that I had opened in the years, and never seen one, but yet I couldn't tell you how many one of under 100 I've pulled in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, like we know, they obviously let the presses run then. And then the other thing too is
that's true too.
While we say it's out of 100, and and this goes back to the whole where we in a new junk wax era, blah blah blah, and I'm not worried about getting into that discussion. But I mean, back then you had Donruss, you had Fleer. You didn't have one company with 35 different products.
Yeah.
So you could only get the Elites in one. Those odds were so long because I mean they printed those damn cards for 6 months.
True. If not the whole year.
Yeah, no kidding.
Foul Five says he has the 91 Elite set minus the Sandberg auto.
That's some money and some dedication right there. There's no doubt. I have I picked up I think I have the Larkin because I bought it from my buddy Jason, and I have a Gooden, and then I think from the second or third year I have a John Kruk, and that's it.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those things where would I look at all those? Yeah, can you get all of them? Yeah, they're available, but they're pricey, and we all have limited funds, so you got to put your money. You got to prioritize where you put your money, and they're just so far down on my depth chart. But for someone else for them to be up there, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that would be kind of low on mine too. I mean, I can think of 3 that I would want. What? Maybe Ripken, Thomas, and Griffey.
I quite said that broke up a little bit. Might have been mine. I heard Thomas and Griffey.
Ripken.
Oh, as far as which ones you'd want out of there?
That would probably be the only 3 that I would really care to have.
Yeah, I was after Murphy, Will Clark was my favorite player, so I would want the Will Clark and the Griffey would probably be the 2 that I would care most about. And I've looked at them and I've got save searches, but I don't even get the emails for them right now. I go through and I change my eBay save searches into what I get the email subscriptions to. I change those every couple months. I get to focus on something else, or I'm burnt out on something else. But I also don't want to be getting 100. I don't want to be getting 100 emails a day because it takes a while to go through and look at all those every night.
Yeah. So Bo brings up an interesting point. He says, a 1-of-1 isn't really a chase anymore.
I mean, that's true.
And a lot of that is to do, I feel like, that, like, all right, say I PC Freddie Freeman. But I know a 1-of-1, the price for me to get it or the chances of me finding it are so outrageous that I don't even look for it. I mean, if it falls in my lap and I have the opportunity, then so be it. But I'm not going to buy a case of boxes and open them trying to find a one-on-one.
I mean, the manufactured scarcity is just – it's gotten to an absurd level. But, on some of my lower – some of the guys that I collect that are lower tier guys, obviously I want to get everyone I can. But, if you're collecting somebody like Freddie Freeman, just – not, Freddie Freeman, despite being the MVP, he's not in that upper handful of players. So even the fact that, those things go for outrageous prices, if you are a Trout collector or a Soto collector, I can't even fathom what those things go for.
You're right. Yeah. And like I said, I realize, I mean, he's not like a big chase card, and I'm fine with that. I've always leaned more toward, as far as since I've been back into the hobby is, it is a hobby. It's not, for me, it's not an industry. But I've leaned toward more of a lifelong Braves players like Chipper Jones. And I PC Dale Murphy, and I do realize, I know 91 he went to the Phillies, and then he had a little stay with the Rockies. But I mean, he is, and I always will be a Brave, and then the most recently Freddie Freeman. So,
I mean, and you can't. I mean, and if they've already been there 5, 6, 7 years and have got 5 more on their contract, yes, they could get traded, but. If they go somewhere the last couple of years of their career, even though they may not be technically by the definition lifelong or, only play for the one team, spending a decade with any one team is impressive.
Exactly. And that's where Freeman's at now. And, that's where Murphy was at, and Chipper Jones. I mean, that's the only team he ever played for. So, but yeah, Zach says I'm fired up. And real quick, while since he mentioned that, I kind of am. I got a little excited this week because I've kind of looked at the analytics of the videos that we've been doing on this on Monday nights, and last Monday we hit an all-time high for views since I've been doing this in the last 31 weeks, and it did get me a little excited. I've bragged about it, and I don't know, I don't want to contribute one thing or to another, but I do appreciate everybody that joins and everybody that watches, and whether it be live or, after the fact. I think when we ended last Monday, we was at 26 or so. So the other 25 came in after the fact, so whether you join live or you don't, I appreciate anybody that watches, and likes and comments. And I do appreciate you coming in. What's it been, 5 weeks now? 4, 5?
Something like that. I don't know. Who's counting?
Right. Who's counting? Just keep moving forward.
My pill. I got to take my damn pill.
Uh-oh. Time to take your pill.
Old man. That's my old man alarm. All right. Back to the subjects at hand.
Right. ComC.
Jesus.
Jump into the fire.
All right. So,
let's say the we got to do this, and then we'll do the lighthearted stuff at the end. End on a good note.
Sounds like a good plan. Leave them wanting more.
Right.
Although I think sometimes people like when I fire up. So,
we can get fired up.
So, I mean, for those of you that don't know, Tim Getch, the owner, founder, CEO of ComC, was on Sports Card Live Saturday night, I guess it was Saturday night. Yeah. And I listened to it today, and he was on there. The show was 2 hours and 5 minutes, and He said a lot. I tweeted this earlier. I've never heard someone say so much without saying anything at all.
Yep.
I mean, there was a lack of accountability. There was a lack of, we hate this for our customers. I'm sorry to our customers. It was just excuses. Oh, well, we have this challenge and we have that challenge. And okay, this is what we're doing. But then it's just like, we hired 15 new people. I mean, I'm sorry. It felt very insincere. Understand logistical warehouse problems to a certain level. I worked in the Lids corporate office for almost a decade. And the time that I was there, the warehouse, the DC, was right behind was in the same building in the back. My best friend from Indianapolis was a DC supervisor. So I understand that there are times that, you get this huge spike, there are problems. He was like, oh, well, sometimes we move things and then something's not there and it causes an order to get held up for 2 weeks. And I'm like, come on, man. I know that things happen and I know that none of us that are on the outside understand exactly all of the issues, but just telling us what the issues are, honestly, we don't give a damn.
Just fix it.
Fix it. We want our cards. You've been shitting the bed for a year now, and it's only getting worse. He said that right now there are at least 1 million cards that orders have been requested that they're working on. It's just asinine.
Now, is the majority of that coming through eBay or is it from outright cards purchased off ComC? Because
I don't know that.
The reason why
given.
The reason why I ask that is, about 5 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, I started using ComC. I never had been on ComC. I actually started my account and deposited, I think it was $25 I did. It's kind of an experiment as far as the flipping, buying and selling on ComC. And I had built up, I built up like $100 or so from the 25, and then I bought a few cards for myself, and I processed them to be shipped. And the shipping that I paid for, the allotted time that they gave, I actually got my cards in that time frame. And that's been like 2 months ago that I got them. It was right about the time everybody was having problems with shipping, but I got mine when I was told I would get them.
Oh, you might have a golden horseshoe up your ass or something, because I see left and right, people complaining on there, and they have every right to complain. I've heard the whole, oh, well, if you pay the 25 cents extra, you're going to get your cards a lot faster. Okay.
Right.
Yes, true. Number one, I shouldn't have to pay that extra to jump to the front of the line. Number two, every time you have somebody pay 25 cents extra to jump to the front of the line, that just knocks someone else back. Number three, I'm not sending home 20 cards and paying $5 extra. I have hundreds of cards I have purchased. So we're talking adding $50, $60, $70 to my order because you want to charge me an extra 25 cents per card on top of the 25 cents per card you've already charged me to ship it home.
Mm-hmm.
You're charging me 50 cents extra a card to expedite that. And again, I don't know. Surprisingly, he didn't really I didn't really hear him actually straight up use COVID as an excuse. And I didn't, which I expected, and I do not recall hearing that. He did not use I had restrictions. He did say that, yes, we could only have so many people working, but he didn't use it as an excuse. He acknowledged it, didn't use an excuse, which was okay. But again, to me, I go back to you opened and started a business in Seattle, Washington, one of the most unfriendly business toward business states. You do that. I don't give a damn what your excuse is. You knew that when you started your company there. You could have started it in, I'll just use Texas as an example, which is much more business friendly. I'm not going to sit here and act like, it's all, rainbows and daisies and running through the field and unicorns, but it's much better.
Right.
So, yeah, and there were some people, there were a handful of people and they're defending them. But I mean, they were taking a beating. I was trying to find the Jim Ross WWE gif of the stop the fight. He's got children, because I mean, they were just getting thrashed, which I mean, I didn't expect anything but.
Right.
But yeah, it's
the comments that were coming in. I mean, they were skipping over them left and right, and like picking and choosing which ones to ask. Which now I will give it to him. Some of the ones that he asked were some of the tougher ones, but
he did. I think that he did. I think that he did a good job with it. It's not a show that I watch on a regular basis. I've probably watched about 3 or 4 full episodes. It's just got to be a guest on there that I truly care about.
Yeah.
Or in this case, I don't want to say care about, but was interested to hear what he had to say. And I mean, I'm sorry, but my opinion is he came out looking bad. There were a handful of people that thought he came out looking great, but those were the people that were, oh, I love Calm, see everything's great, blah, 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 blah. And it just, I mean, the optics of it were horrible. And like I said, anybody, y'all watching this live, y'all obviously watch YouTube. Feel free to go check out Sports Cards Live. I don't remember exactly where the breaks, how it's listed to find it. But yeah, I mean, it was awful. Or if you're on Twitter, you can check my account, Beans B Card Blog. I shared it at some point throughout today. And you can go find it there. And it's 2 hours. But yeah, just the optics on it were horrible, in my opinion. But I am, and not everybody's going to agree with me. Victor said it took like 2.5 weeks to send cards. I mean, 2.5 weeks, honestly, if they were shipping your card out, Victor, in 2.5 weeks from eBay, you consider yourself a lucky man, from what I'm hearing. I mean, he was explaining how, he went through a lot of things, explaining how they were prioritized. But I mean, there's people that are not getting stuff shipped out in 4, 5, 6 weeks that they're purchasing through eBay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I was muted for a minute. I don't know why. Yeah. That's what I heard. It's like some of them, they were getting requests for refunds for cards that was 2 months out. I mean, and they said that they were, they were just eating them. They were sending refunds, and the person that owned the card that was on eBay put up for sale was still getting their money, and they were just eating the cards.
Yeah, it's just, and Tony's talking about their pay, and I mean, I don't have any trouble believing that, Tony, that their pay for the card pickers is $2 less than Panda Express and McDonald's. But again, I don't know if necessarily where they are has it, but I know, doesn't Seattle have that $15 minimum wage now? There are things like that where, if you can't afford to have the more pickers and you can't afford to pay them better, then I just don't have empathy or sympathy, whichever is the correct word. You chose where to operate your business out of. You're choosing to not pay very well, which, and that's honestly, picking a bunch of cards is not a very high skilled job. So I'm not sitting here acting like that I think these guys should be getting paid $30 an hour. But yeah. I mean, I guess the pay is it's kind of a different discussion it's a different type of discussion, but it does have something to do with it.
I'm going to put this up, and George has a good point here. I mean, he has a real good point. I mean, who in the last year in the hobby hasn't done a shitty job on one thing or another?
Yeah, but that's one thing or another. This is a company that can ship stuff out, can't get stuff received in, has literally been using the same excuse for a year. Other ones have struggled, but it's not been as consistently. I'm making words up now. It's so bad. Consistently terrible. I mean,
Call Webster.
Sorry, George. I have to respectfully not necessarily agree with you there. I get it, and you're absolutely right. And many of them have done horrible jobs. But, I mean, ComC seems to be the one that has been maybe the worst. You could probably make an argument for PSA. But, you know, I'm not going to sit here and get on car grading again. I think we've beaten that dead horse enough. Yeah. So, I mean, that was my take. I thought the optics were not good. You know, I am not besmirching Mr. Getch's character. I've heard nothing but good things about him as a person. But also, just because you start a company, at a certain point, you're probably not fit to be CEO anymore when your level of expertise is coding. And a lot of what he's doing is coding for the website. Well, with the things going on, could you not hire other coders? Or I mentioned that I worked for Lids. They started out as Hat World. The co-founders at a certain point realized we're not really necessarily qualified to be CEOs of this company. Let's get somebody in here who knows how to do that. I mean, there's two ways you can go there. I mean, he's trying to be a CEO and do all coding for the website. You know, pick your battles.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, and at the same time, you know, I agree with you 100% with what you're saying. But, you know, like I said, and like George says, you know, PSA dropped the ball completely. You don't hear quite so much about BGS other than, you know, here and there.
I don't think anybody cares about BGS anymore. Name the last time somebody excited about their BGS return.
You got Tops with their website and their customer service. Panini with their Dutch auctions, which I completely hate. That's I don't know. That's price gouging at the best.
No, I mean, I get that, but the Dutch auction, I mean, if you don't like them, doesn't mean they're not working. Now, there are issues with the bot. There are issues with the bots. Hey, they've got those with Panini with Pops. I get that. HGA is, you know, we touched on them last week. Everybody's had issues, and those are the, you know, growing pains of the hobby exploding like it is. But again, I'm talking ComC has been consistently bad for at least 12 months. Consistently. At least these other companies are doing some good things. I mean, I know Top struggled with, you know, the explosion project, what was Project 2020, you know, with Keystore when his went up, and then all of a sudden shit. I know, but, and I know you can ridicule them pretty much on a daily basis, but ComC is kind of, I mean, they're on their own planet as far as just pretty much consistently shitting the bed and not improving in any way, shape, or form over the last 12 months. Oh, I mean, Top Shot's another whole thing right there. I mean, that seems like a pyramid scheme or something with people can only get out limited amounts of money at a time. That's a whole different thing. I don't really know enough about all that because, honestly, I give zero shits about Top Shot. But I mean, it's another, you know, he's right. It's another, I'm not saying, George, that these other companies aren't, but I'm saying on a consistent, we haven't gotten any better. We haven't done much of anything right. We can't get shit received. We can't get shit shipped out. We can't get it shipped out if it's through our customers, through eBay's customers. You know, again,
Yeah.
I'm George trying to see if my head explodes.
Yeah.
Bad, George. Bad.
That's right. And I'm with you. I haven't even looked into Top Shots at all, and I guess that's a lot to do with the fact that I don't really do basketball. Period.
That's fair enough.
End of story. I don't. And as far as, and it's crazy because everybody asks me like, why don't you collect football? Because football is probably my number one sport, and to be more specific, college football. That's that's what I pay the most attention to. I watch baseball, but it's usually I watch Braves, and then I catch the highlights on everything else. But college football, I'll sit on a Saturday and watch every team that comes on TV. But basketball, I can't. I don't know. I can't get into it. I don't know why.
Well, to each their own, and
Yeah,
to each their
I mean,
own. And if we're talking about correcting, there's so much there. The people, you almost have to. You don't almost. 99% of us have to be specific in what we collect. Just because we only collect baseball doesn't mean we don't like football. But you're already putting so much money into your Freddie Freeman and Braves collection that you may not go spend on Falcons, even if you watch the Falcons. Now, I know you were talking college football.
Don't even talk to me about Falcons because I am not a Falcons fan.
I know. I'm just using
I
that
live
as
in
the
Georgia,
team.
but you know what? I can't even say the words on here. I can't.
But, I'm just, like I said, I'm just throwing that out there because college football, yes, we have like the draft picks, but you can't collect college cards. There isn't a set dedicated to current year players. So that's kind of it's kind of a false equivalency. What I was trying to say was, if you like baseball and football, again, football, basketball, whatever. Also, we only have so much time to watch so many sports. I am a married man. I enjoy spending time with my wife. I understand how some guys watch so much sports. My wife's not interested. I mean, she watches. She'll be in there when I'm watching WVU and college football, and we will watch Stars and we will watch the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
But I can't. I'm not going to sit there and watch every Rangers game and then every Cowboys game and then every Stars game and then every Mavs game. It's kind of with coach, you kind of have to pick. There was a time when I was single that literally almost every night I'm watching sports, but that's just not. It's just not how it is now for me. But what I will do is I will go through and watch like the YouTube highlights and stuff like that, since we don't really have Sports Center anymore to watch.
Yeah, and that's me. I don't watch. Other than I will. College football is what I watch all day, every day. I say every day, every Saturday. But NFL, until after the national championship game in college is when I start watching NFL, which to me is the best time to start watching because after the national championship, you're in the playoffs for NFL, and I can watch it then. But as far as, man, I don't pull for the Falcons ever. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm from Georgia. Yes, I'm an hour and a half away from Atlanta. But man, the Falcons have let me down so much that I won't even buy a Falcons any kind of shirt, T-shirt. I don't care. I don't have a NFL team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my wife is. I mean, she is a goddess. She, there's only, what do we get? Maybe 15 college football Saturdays a year. So really 15 days a year. And football Saturdays are mine. and if we don't have anything going on, we'll turn on the Cowboys or whatever the case. If we're not paying attention to anything, we're just doing stuff around the house, we'll have it on because, good for the Cowboys to win. We live here, so it's good for everyone involved. But, yeah, I just, like I said, I guess what I was getting at way back 5 minutes ago was, you have to allocate your funds in trading cards. And to me, at least, you have to allocate your time to sports. And there's probably going to be not necessarily 100% correlation, but there's going to be a strong correlation of where you spend the time to watch and the money that you spend. Uh-oh. Did you go mute again? Or are you just reading?
No, I'm mute. Yeah, I'm mute, but I was reading the chat. We got Rich with us, which welcome, Rich. Rich says on his cable system he can't watch the local teams.
Yeah, we down here have the it just switched from Fox Sports to Bally, and I saw him say I guess his cable system is not carrying that. But let's be honest, there's like 7 people down here that like. There's like 7 people in this area that like the Rangers anyway.
God, let's see.
Yes, George. I have been. I've been doing. Like I said, I've definitely seen more baseball now. Probably in the what are we into the fifth day of the season than I had probably the last 5 years combined. But I do like. Go ahead.
No, it's. I'm just. What's interesting is the fact that I'm kind of in the same shoes with Rich when it comes to not necessarily baseball, but like NFL. I can very seldom do I catch an Atlanta game. If I want to watch a Falcons game, very seldom can I watch it because I live so close to the South Carolina border that the market that I have for my satellite company is in Carolina. So if I turn to Fox, I got to watch the Panthers.
Yeah, unless they have the doubleheader and they've got the doubleheader and they play at different times and all that.
Yeah, but what's really got me confused is this right here, and I think he's still here, he can kind of explain. Said it took the greatest name in hobby. She had a great name. I don't understand. I'm sorry, it's got me baffled. It actually took my attention away from what we were talking about.
Her first and maiden name rhymed, and now they don't.
What is that?
She has her first and last name rhymed. Now they don't because she has my last name. So that's why.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say her first and last name before she married me. They rhymed with each other.
Right. We'll talk about this after the fact, because obviously because Rich said you knew. So
knew what?
He said.
All right, I don't know.
Yeah, Rich says He said
Yeah,
I guess it's
but that's what I'm telling you. That's what it is. That's why it is.
All right. Yeah, and I agree with Bo too. Talking about the blackouts. I mean, ESPN had the Braves game blacked out yesterday. ESPN. They would rather just show nothing than go ahead and show the Braves game. Which, whatever. They got waxed by the Phillies for 3 games in a row, so whatever.
Yeah, let's not even go on MLB and their blackout rules, just because I'm pretty sure anybody that knows just knows how asinine they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, he's 100% right. I'm not glossing over that. I'm just, we would, we've only got 20 minutes left, and we could spend way more than 20 minutes on that garbage.
Well, yeah, we may go over a couple of minutes today.
Yeah, we haven't done the YouTube shout outs yet. Uh-oh. I think you've gone mute again. Uh-oh. We have lost George. Dun, dun, dun. I see your mouth moving, but I cannot hear you. Uh-oh. Hey, there he is.
Hey, here we go.
Here we are.
Man, this thing right here, it's so sensitive. All right. So you
It's
mentioned
like
it. So
It's like me. It's sensitive.
right. All right. So you mentioned it. So we'll go ahead and
All right.
and get into it. So,
all right. So we'll do mine first.
Yeah.
So mine is a channel, and I know we talked last. We ideally like to do some of these channels that have lower sub counts, and this channel has a little. He went over. He's actually currently doing his 1,000 sub giveaway, and here's a great reason you want to follow his channel. I haven't actually watched the video yet. I've just seen the title of it, but his sub giveaway has something to do with players that you dislike. That sounds fun, doesn't it? But anyway, so vintage oddball cards. Rick, I have been watching his channel. I mean, I don't remember when I didn't watch his channel, so I don't know how early on I subscribed. But watching his channel, you will see a lot of cards that you're probably going to see on a lot of channels. He really does collect vintage oddball cards, but that would be mostly vintage oddball baseball cards. So if you're I think the channel's a great watch for anyone. But that's what it is. And then he's got his he's just a very low-key guy. And then he did I don't know what of y'all saw the epic rant video we did a few months ago from another channel. We kind of parodied it, and he started going off left and right. What he was supposed to do was copy what someone else said. And he's just the nicest, most low-key guy. And he got a part where it was F this and F you and F that. And he got into it, and it was fantastic. Rick is just such a fun guy. So, but yeah, very informative. You get to see a lot of things that you're probably not going to see on many other channels on YouTube or, wherever you do spend your social media time. So that is my channel shout out of the week.
Right. Well, and actually, I didn't realize it until you told me who you were going to pick. That because when I pulled his channel up, I was already following him, and I hadn't really watched the whole. I watched some of his later stuff, but his recent stuff I hadn't really caught up with. Which I watch, and I'm like you, I watch so much that it's hard to keep up with what I do watch and don't watch, and and a lot of stuff that I watch, I don't actually watch. I listen to on like my headset and just. But we have Victor's in here tonight. I don't know if he's ever been with us tonight, which I wanted to welcome him.
Hey, Victor.
And then, which Tony I think was with us last week, if I'm not mistaken.
So I'm guessing all of Victor's players he's going to dislike. I'm assuming they're going to be all Red Sox.
It's
just what I'm guessing. Okay. Oh yeah, I've been subscribed to Victor's channel for a long time. There's another one, and I meant to say this actually. Any of the guys that are in the chat, if you don't follow them, go follow them. There are some guys in here I know that comment and don't make videos, but there are other guys that do make videos. Go follow them and check out their stuff. I guess I didn't realize Victor hadn't been in the live chat before, but yeah, I love what he shows off. Victor's he's what I consider a true collector. I don't think he sells very much, if any. He does some trades. But yeah, he's a Yankees fan.
Yeah, he may have been. I may have overlooked him a couple times, but I mean, if he has been, I'm sorry that I missed it. And if he hadn't, welcome. But we'll go ahead and get into mine. And mine is somebody that, and I'll be honest, I just found him Saturday night. And the way I found him was I was watching George KBO Collection, his live deal that he does on Saturday night for us, Sunday morning for him. But it's Mickey with Boom Slang on YouTube. And same as you know, it's he already has a higher sub count. He was currently at 938 when last I looked. But after I had watched him and George, I went back and found his YouTube, and over the weekend I started watching a few of his videos, and he has a little bit of everything. He's done some auctions on live auctions on YouTube. He's done mail days. He's done just basic like box sorting where he'll video himself sorting through boxes. Yeah. Bo says he's jealous of Mickey's wall, and I kind of called out Bo when George was talking to him that his collection made Bo's basement seem tame as far as what his basement looked like and the amount of monster boxes he had. But he's recently started doing something similar to this and what George does on Saturdays, where he'll get on Saturdays and just post a link, and if you want to come in and talk to him, just chat, come in and talk cards, which I thought was awesome. That's kind of what this started out as. But yeah, Bo Slang on YouTube, give him a follow if you hadn't already. Check him out. I don't know if George talked to him much before then or not, but yeah, his basement is. We probably could all learn a little bit from his organization.
Not one of my strong suits.
No, not me either. Me either. If you could see to the left and right of me, it ain't pretty. What is right here is probably the most organized I've got. So
that's one of my goals for this year is to get more organized. Right. But yeah. Diego's watched him. He knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I saw that because I watched George's.
I made the comment
when I saw the chair.
Yeah, I made the comment on George's when George is on that his Mickey's chair looked like it belonged on the Star Trek Enterprise.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it's a gaming chair, maybe.
It's got to be.
Yeah,
I've seen those type of chairs before, just not ever with the lights.
Yeah, my stepson had a few.
Yeah,
not with the lights, but it was one of the gaming chairs because he's had a couple of them at least.
Right, and George says that was the first time. Yeah, Foul 5 says it sounds like his collection is just more organized. So Foul 5 has problem with organization too.
Sunday, Diego.
If 32 years organization. If any collector or hobbyist or whatever says that they're at 100% organized, they're lying. They've got to be lying because
the reason I'll argue.
All right. Let me rephrase that. A hobbyist, a collector, not a.
I still can respectfully disagree because there are people. Remember, we all collect differently.
Exactly.
And,
I got you.
And I've talked about this before. I really admire people that have a very small, focused collection. There are people who collect and are, what I would consider, a collector, a true collector, and their cards may fit to 3 monster boxes because they're just so specific in what they do. Now, I think that in a lot of cases, those are the people that are newer to the hobby
and there's nothing wrong with that. But those of us that collected in the 80s, even into the 90s and earlier, at that time, when I started collecting, you could collect everything. Even as a kid, conceivably, you could collect everything, because when I started, first year was 87, there were 3 baseball sets a year. Yep. There was 1 football set. There was, 1 basketball set, not that I collected basketball then. You know, you could conceivably collect it all then. And as the numbers of sets and things have evolved, you know, we haven't necessarily evolved to tightening up and, you know, being more specific on what we collect. So I do think a lot of the new collectors, you know, they may be organized because maybe they own less than 5,000 cards.
All right.
Doesn't mean they're not a true collector because they don't have a high number. They're just very specific on what they collect. So, again, I know that's a minority, but I was just saying, no.
Yeah, no, I get you. And I will say that as far as like my PC, it's organized from rookie year on up. I know I mean, you name the card, I can go get it. Where I have trouble is from opening boxes and building sets, the extras that I have after the fact. That's what I have trouble keeping organized. Just like, I mean, most recently I opened I got it right here, the Parkhurst, you know, 2020, 21 blaster I opened. I don't have anywhere to put it. I don't have an actual spot for it, so it's sitting on my desk. So, you know, except for the Blackhawks and let's see, what is it, Bruins and the Stars, which are in the mail.
Oh,
I didn't have any Blackhawks. Sorry, Ken, I didn't.
Yeah, I knew what you meant though. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I mean, I had no Blackhawks and 1 Flyer, so, but I had a ton of Bruins and Stars.
I'm sorry about that Bruins situation.
Yeah, and right now I think they're beating the Flyers. So, thank you, Mark. So let's see. What was we? I guess we'll move on. Oh, before we do, and I posted a picture of this on Twitter. I did happen to pick up. I wouldn't call it a white whale, but it was a card that I have wanted for a long time, and I finally pulled the trigger on it last week and got it. Saturday?
Is that the Desert Storm?
Yeah, Desert Storm. Yeah, he's in a Phillies uniform, but
yeah, but I mean that's such an iconic set. Even if I think you've told me that you don't really collect the non-Braves, even though it's only 3 years, I guess. You don't collect the non-Braves card, but I mean that's a card right there that I feel like even if you don't, you have to have, because that is just such a set with such hobby significance.
Yeah,
especially if you collected during, you know, those earlier years. I can see where somebody maybe coming into the hobby now has, you know, and can be a pretty, you know, I would say could be a pretty major into the hobby, but has no concept of what that is, and I can understand that.
And I can remember. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're our age, you know that set. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, I can remember finding out about that set, and it kind of leads back into what we're headed to that we hadn't talked about yet. But I actually had, or I did. I say I had. I actually got to open a box of Desert Shield of the 91 tops. Wasn't mine. It belonged to a guy that I was helping at the time, and he acquired a box, or I think maybe it might have been 2 boxes that he had, and I got to open them. And I remember seeing the Dale Murphy, but at the time there was no way I could actually physically own it because he was a Braves fan too, so he was not going to turn loose. He wasn't going to turn loose of it. So, and I'd always thought that I would like to have that card. I looked at it and I'm thinking, you know, technically it's still a 91 tops. even though it had the stamp on it. And then I finally, about 6 months ago, was like, you know what? I'm going to find one, and one day it's going to be cheap enough. I'm going to get it. And, last week it happened. So I got it.
I actually have that one. Will Clark was my other favorite around that time, and I don't think I ever picked up a Clark, but I know I have that Murphy. Like I said, it was just one of those ones that if you were collecting during that time, you wanted to have at least one Desert Storm environment in your collection. Well, who better to have than your favorite player, even if in this particular case they happen to be with a team that they shouldn't be with.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on that. I can't fathom them getting rid of Murphy at the end of his career anyway. So,
and I just wanted to say to Dan, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know Mark Burley played for the Blue Jays.
I didn't either.
I thought he was like a career with the Sox.
I did too. But anyway, let's talk about card shops. I mean, we got 4 minutes left. We may go over a little bit, but whatever. I mean, yeah. And I had mentioned to you the other day about having a card shop several years ago, and you didn't know about it. And like I said, not a whole lot of people do. I've mentioned it here and there. I've never went into detail about it. I don't think, but the way it started was back in '88, late '88, when there was a few card shops that in on helping them out, sorting cards and doing whatever odd and end stuff around. Ended up working at it was a pawn shop, but he had a corner dedicated to nothing but cards. I ended up in there with him. If anybody needed help organizing, it was him. Didn't know what he had. He pulled out a card here and there, had them in a glass case. Everything else was piled up in boxes, not in order, by year, set, date, nothing. And I basically was working for cards. Did that for, I think, 3 months, and he decided to get out of it. And he offered to me, what's up, Steph? He offered it to me if I wanted it. And I talked to my parents. Like I said, I'm 17. I'm still at home, still in school. And I convinced them that, I could make money at it. So my daddy was like, okay, what does he want for it? I told him, because we had to figure out a price. He sat down and figured out his price. He said, well, I'll take you to the bank. We'll get a personal loan. You pay it back, whatever. So the guy, he sells me his whole inventory. And then he subleases me a spot, right there where it's already established. So that was kind of how I acquired a card shop. I mean, even though it was a corner in a pawn shop, it was still, it still technically was a card shop. And dude, at 17 years old, I was in heaven. I run I'm like, I got my own business. I'm doing what I love to do. I love to collect, I love ball cards. Basically all I had to do was just pick right up where he left off. I already had he already had a deal with Beckett. So I had the baseball, football, basketball Beckett's coming in every month. I had all that. The only thing he didn't have was a line with like getting boxes, boxes and supplies, which I had scratched around and found places to do that. But I did that. This was in 89. Yeah, I did in 89. And the way I was getting my boxes was, to start with, going to there was a flea market in the next state over that I would go to, or places that I could pick them up by the box at a reasonable price, reasonable enough to where I could bring them back and sell them by the pack. So I'd sell packs, and singles. I mean, and back then, 50-cent and dollar cards they were big. I mean, if you had a Frank Thomas or a Griffey for $1 in 89, 90, they were gone. Well, I say 90. Griffey's in the 90s, and then Thomas in 91. But like I said, those cards, Ripkins, Sandbergs, all those cards would move as quick as you put them out for $1. And that's basically what I was moving was dollar cards, $2 cards, packs. Packs was the biggest thing. Once 89 Upper Deck came out, those things were flying. And it was funny because I would sell them what I would sell during the week, and the way I restocked was to go to this flea market or somewhere on the weekend and pick up boxes, come back the next week, sell packs, go back, buy a box on the weekend, come back. But I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was. I had people coming in talking cards, asking for this card, building sets, and I at this time I had everything that he had at the beginning that was mine. Now I had it organized to where people were building sets, which a lot of people did back in like 89, 90. They were building sets. So I mean, fit 5-cent, 10-cent cards to build sets, whatever. It's a lot of what was going on, but I really I wish it hadn't fell through as quick as it did, because it actually only lasted about 2 years. But it was something I enjoyed.
Was it something you done differently that would have made it longer term? Was there something that happened?
I feel like it. Yeah, there was some stuff that happened. Well, for starters, that he ended up going out of business on the pawn shop part. He gave up the ball cards in the beginning because he was already starting to struggle, and that was just like his way of, all right, I'm gonna get rid of this first. But yeah, he was going downhill quick. But that was what happened with that. And it kind of put me in a bind because I was trying to grow, and I was in a card shop business part of it, but I was trying to grow as his business was kind of dwindling down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'm getting bigger, he's getting smaller, but then all of a sudden, he comes up, he's like, well, I'm finna have to shut down. I'm about to lose my business. I got to do this. You got to go, and I was doing decent for what I was paying for a sublease in a corner, with 3 glass cases and the corner I had, but I wasn't doing well enough to go out and try to acquire a new building and do it that way. So,
understandable.
But yeah, I picked up. I picked up, and what I had started doing was the same flea market that I was going to. I say flea market. Well, it was a flea market, but the same flea market I was going to pick up like whole seal boxes and stuff. I started going there myself and selling, and I worked. There was about 3-4 years in the next town over, where which is the city of Royston, Georgia, which is where Ty Cobb's from. That they had a Ty Cobb Memorial card show, which I would go to every year, and those were awesome. They actually did, and I still have them somewhere at my parents' house. I just got to find them, but they had a card that they had printed just for that show that it was a Ty Cobb card, and they had a number. They made 100 of them that they gave out to everybody that showed, like that set up at the show. And then they would auction off, like they had the 1 of 1 or the 1 of 100, the first card. They would auction off. It was interesting. I wish I could. I've got some pictures from that, and I want to find them. And if I do, I'll share them on here one day.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I had no idea about that. Very cool. Yeah, I think a lot of us that collected since we were kids had dreams of owning our own card shop at some point. So it's definitely cool to hear, someone that did. I know that, I had a friend in my hometown that had one, and it's like, dude, there's so many other things you could do here to make some more money. Put all these boxes of commons out that you have, because he actually, where you had your corner inside that, he actually had a small, shop of his own. And I'm like, you've got room, put these out, let people go through them and buy them. And he just didn't do it. Not that would have saved his shop, but we all have ideas of what we could have done better. So
yeah, and that was a lot of and that was a lot of what I was doing was just like the way this started, just talking about cards. I would sell $1 here, $1 there, $2 here, whatever. But just to have people come in and actually, talk about the hobby, talk about cards, talk about what they're doing, listen to what I'm doing. That was a big part of it. Because, I wasn't making a living at it. I was making enough to grow what I had at the time. I had enough to grow it a little bit, but I couldn't take a pay, which I was 17 at the time, but I couldn't have went and paid a mortgage with it or a car payment or whatever. I had enough to put back in it and just kind of keep it going, which is what I was doing. So I couldn't imagine trying to make a living selling.
No, I couldn't either. Like I said, and Diego said, it's a dream of a lot of us, but it's harder than we think. Yeah, when you actually sit down and sometimes you think about it, you're just like, yeah, there's no way I could do it.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. I'd like to take a vacation. I'd like to take a vacation or two a year. So, you're pretty much, most card shops are being run by the owner all the time. There's only stuff you can do. But yeah, the reality is I don't, as much as I would like to say that I would like to own a shop, that would be a very difficult thing unless I was independently wealthy and was paying a store manager to do it, and I could just pop in and talk about cards when I wanted to. That would be the only way to really make that happen.
Yeah, that was kind of because, like I said, being 17, I was still in school. I kind of had an agreement with the guy that had that had got it from where, during the day when I was at school, he would watch over that part as long as I kept everything priced to where he didn't have to try to figure anything out. And, after school, which I was doing it was like an early release work program or whatever. So I got out at lunch, but, when I go in, if he needed to go somewhere or he needed to do something or he wasn't going to be around, I'd kind of watch his part of it and mine. We kind of swapped it off that way. So I didn't have to actually have a hired person to help me. So, but yeah, it was definitely interesting and I enjoyed it, but not something you can make a living at. Not in my opinion. I know there's people that do it, but it kind of goes back to the old saying: to make money, you have to spend money, and I didn't have it to spend. So
yeah, and to spend the money, you have to have the money to spend. So
to spend the money, you have to have the money. Exactly.
Yeah. So no, it was interesting. It was interesting to hear about that, though. Like I said, had no idea about that.
Yeah, and I rushed through it. I'm sure. There were several other things that I probably could have added to that, but maybe we'll talk about it again later, another day. But
sounds like a plan.
Yep. Well, I guess we've kind of went over a little bit, so we'll cut it off here. I appreciate everybody for joining us, and Ken, I appreciate you joining me again.
Yeah, thanks for everyone joining in the chat, man. I do enjoy reading through that. I don't get to comment on everything that I'd like to, but I'm getting a lot better about reading them. I
can say that much. I've gotten better about that the last couple weeks.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes you get into talking back and forth, and I mean, we miss it. I mean, and we're not ignoring anybody. But yeah, it's good to know that, you know, we can conversate back and forth and keep the conversation going and not struggle to have something to talk about. I will say that.
All right.
But we'll be back next Monday, and we've got the hobby roundtable for anybody that hadn't ever joined us, scheduled for April the 17th. It'll be on this same link, be at 8 p.m. on Saturday. There's about 9 or 10 of us, and I mean, we just kind of talk about what's on our mind. May have a couple topics, but other than that, it's kind of a free-for-all. So you're welcome to join us, and we'll see y'all next week. Appreciate it.
See ya.